Hi gang, Denise here. This is Pose of the Week, and our pose today is Virabhadrasana 2 or Warrior 2. All right, so I'll begin by stepping back from the front of my mat and pivoting my right foot so that it's in front and pointed toward the back end of my mat. And then I'll bend my knees slightly, but then I'll start paying attention to what my arrangement is here. So I want kind of a heel-to-heel connection. Some people are more comfortable with a heel to arch of the foot connection. Please note how your knee feels, back knee, to make that decision. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a moment. So I want to make sure my great toe is grounded, pinky edge, inner and outer heel, and then as I bend into my knee, I'll press my knee toward the outside. So I want to feel my lateral fascial line in this posture. And I always want to be able to see my great toe as well. Now, what we do with this other leg, the back leg, varies a little bit. So, some people are much more comfortable turning this hip forward a little bit. So they're not comfortable squaring the hips to the side. They need to actually rotate this hip in and back. So, either one. This has to do with how the neck of the femur is angled. So I won't go into that right now, but I do recommend that you test this out for yourself and see. So in one of the iterations, the pinky edge of my foot is balanced with the back edge of my mat. All right, and this would require more external rotation at this hip, or I could more internally rotate my hip. It's going to turn my pelvis toward the front of the mat a little bit more though, and change my angle just a little bit so it's not quite level with the back of my mat. Okay, so one thing I'll say though about ankle position, if I externally rotate up my hip, I don't need as much ankle dorsiflexion and inversion. If I rotate inward, then I would need more. So this has to do with knee and ankle, not just hip. All right, so find the ideal position, and then you want to make sure you're not letting your knee collapse in, but you're also not allowing the knee to hyperextend, okay? There has to be activity around the knee, activity in the sole of your foot, lifting the arch. All right, and then we're working toward bringing this thigh parallel to the mat. So, that's kind of the classic version of Warrior 2. If your legs aren't ready to go there, your hips aren't ready to go there, or it just doesn't feel like a stable position for you, then sure, it's fine to come out of it a little bit. But this is the direction that we're headed in, all right? And so again, you're going to decide if your hips are totally open to the side or they're rotated forward a little bit. Please find what's most comfortable in the knee and ankle for you. And now here, are we pressing out or pulling in? So generally, I tap into my fascial lines. That's kind of how I move and stabilize my body. So right here, I'm externally activating my legs. I've positioned them. Now I activate externally. When I do that, there's an interesting liveliness that happens on the inseams of my legs as well. And then I draw that awareness into my pelvic floor and then up through my spine. The shoulders are going to be soft and broad. And I want to lengthen my arms here. My shoulders are relaxed, but I can still make my arms long and active. The other thing I look for is, am I being an eager warrior or a reluctant warrior or a balanced warrior? And it can vary a little bit on any given day. So that's what I'm looking for here. So I want to find my ujjayi breath and my pelvic floor connection, and then express this beautiful strengthening pose. And then we can just switch sides and move into the other side. And again, you're paying attention to pelvic position. Make sure this front knee isn't collapsing. That's very common, this collapsed position. So we want to keep it lively. Look at my arch is lifting, pressing my knee out. I'm using my fascial lines to do this. Lifting the arch of my back foot, finding my stable, grounded position, my ujjayi breath, my pelvic floor engagement. So good. Hope you enjoy Warrior 2, and thank you so much for joining me today. Bye for now.